You're listening to the Holistic Spaces podcast brought to you by Mindful Design Feng Shui School. Episode 193 Interview with Laura. Welcome to episode 193 of the Holistic Spaces podcast, where we hope to inspire, educate, and empower you to create your own holistic spaces that nurture and resonate with you. Anjie Cho and Laura Morris are the founders of the Mindful Design Feng Shui School. We teach Feng Shui online at mindfuldesignschool.com. We have a Feng Shui practitioners training program where we teach our students to become Feng Shui consultants. You can learn more about it by visiting mindfuldesignschool.com. You can also sign up for our mailing list there for free special workshops, opportunities that are only for our newsletter subscribers. So you can go to mindfuldesignschool.com, scroll down to the bottom, and sign up for our mailing list there, or you can look in the show notes. So for the next two episodes, we thought we would do something a little bit different in case we have any new people that don't know much about Laura or me. We wanted to interview each other. And so we're going to start with Laura. So I'm going to interview Ms. Laura Morris today.
Excellent. That's good. Yes. And I was just thinking when you said today, interview with Laura, we need to do better. I feel like that title is not great, but it's okay. We're going to be okay. I was thinking get to know us, but whatever. It doesn't matter now. We'll just stick with what we have. No, it's okay. It's good.
Okay. Well, you can do it differently for me. Oh, yeah. Get to know Laura.
Get to know Angie. Okay. So
Interview with Laura Morris, get to know Laura.
There we go.
Okay. So, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
Could you please tell me about yourself and your business?
Okay. Me and my business. Okay. Well, my name is Laura Morris, as you guys know. I'm not a super interesting person. I don't like to talk about myself a lot. So, but what I will do is I will tell you briefly a little bit about me. I'm Canadian. I live about 2 hours east of Toronto. I live in a small community called Prince Edward County. I am a Feng Shui practitioner, obviously, and a Feng Shui teacher. And most of my time is spent teaching Feng Shui and running the Mindful Design School business. So that is my main business, although my personal brand business is more as Feng Shui. And I do, consultations, but I would say 90% of what I do is mindful design. I have a son and I have a husband and I have 2 kitty cats and I have a horse. And I love working on mindful design. We're coming up on our 5th anniversary next year, which is really exciting. So we're trying to think about things that we can do for next year. I don't know. I love teaching. I love the students. I really love making the courses, content, all that stuff. Yeah. That's not a very inspiring answer, Angie.
And you're Canadian.
I am Canadian. I said that at the beginning. I'm a proud Canadian. Yeah. For all the Canadian listeners out there.
Okay.
And because I write a lot of the content, like Angie and I come up with the content, but I physically put it into docs and stuff or in our courses. I intentionally add things like color with a U or favorite with a U just to bug Angie.
And then I always, sometimes I'll send her a screenshot on a text that I have a big red marker that crosses out the U. Right. And then she'll always respond with, "It's a King's English."
And now it is the King's English as of 2 days or whatever. But yeah. Yeah. That's me and my business in a nutshell.
Well, can you tell us what brought you to Feng Shui? What's your Feng Shui story?
My Feng Shui story. Well, I used to do a lot of interior design. Originally, I was actually in business. I was a director of marketing at a big company, big multinational company in the big city of Toronto, Ontario, when I lived in the city. And then I began to work in design and I studied, I went to school, I did all that. I shifted gears, I shifted careers, and I started doing design. But for me, it never really clicked, but it didn't click. I loved the creative part of it, but I wanted to do more. And I'd known about feng shui for years. I mean, it must have been 20 years. In the early 90s, I had books that I, played around with. I took a really small little course here and there. And I just felt like in my design business that something was missing. So I decided to really dive deep and to study feng shui properly. And I joined the program that Angie and I met in, the BTB Masters program, which is in New York City. It is no longer, it does not exist anymore. It has dissolved. And I went to every 3 months, I would travel to New York and study for 3 years.
So, what is the most unexpected thing you learned about feng shui or that you didn't think was related to feng shui?
Hmm. Probably for me, it was the personal chi work. I think all the personal chi um, work that we do. I was because my background was in design, that was my kind of foray into it, was really looking at the space. I understood that it was more than just moving furniture. I wasn't, I knew that there was deeper significance in all of the design details and color and all of that stuff. But what I didn't know was that that extended to reading people's chi, to be able to look at someone's energy, and being able to look at the space would actually tell you something about a person too, which I just found, for me, that was like the biggest aha. Being able to look at a floor plan or look at a space, understand what that means from a feng shui perspective, and then talk to the client about it, and then go, yeah, that's exactly right. And so that kind of stuff, being able to use the space and the tools that we have in feng shui to learn something about someone that they, either A, couldn't communicate, hadn't really surfaced. It's that stuff really just came out of nowhere. I had no idea that the power of that.
Yeah, and I know that part of your story is also that you took like a weekend feng shui program and got kind of and then you try to jump into feng shui and
Hmm.
you want to
I took
share
a
more?
5 day, yeah, I took a 5 day course in Toronto live, and it was actually 4 days. And then she took us on one consultation, and it was in a different perspective. It was classical.
Classical.
And at the end of it, I just felt like I had not enough information, or as I like to say, just enough to be dangerous. Like, I had a lot of questions along, okay, I get that, but what happened? What do you do when that happens? Like, how do you resolve that? How do you adjust that? And I didn't have the answers that I wanted. So I went looking for those answers.
So let's go into more Laura questions, getting to
Mm.
know Laura. So, Laura, what do you do for fun?
I like to travel. I like to hang out with my family. I have a horse, so I like to ride. I'm an equestrian, so I don't ride as much as I used to, but I do like to ride, and I paint. And I am an artist. I like to paint as well. Yeah. So painting, I was actually doing a lot of painting. I haven't painted as much as I'd like to. It's something that you can always come back to, but I have quite an extensive, you know, background in painting and art and stuff that I like to tap into once in a while.
Yeah, you have a whole different Instagram for that.
I do, and I haven't done anything with it in a while. I feel like since mindful design it's kind of really grown for us, over the past 2 3 years, the past 2 years for sure. I've been pumping so much of my creativity in that I don't feel as much of a need to paint. So I haven't been doing as much painting, which is fine. I'm totally cool with that.
Mm. Um, and actually, I'm going to skip ahead to a question that seems to work with what you just
Mm,
said. What are some big transitions that have happened to you since you and I first
mhm.
met, or since we started working together and since we've created Mindful Design School in the last 5 years?
Yeah. I definitely feel like I've got a handle on. I'd already been an entrepreneur for working on my own for almost 5 years by then, but I found that this school and working with a business partner, which was new for me, has really given me boundaries in terms of how to create my business. And so it's been really good. I've enjoyed a lot this creating the structure, and that is because Feng Shui, it was a lot of me going out and doing consultations, which was great, but I liked the fact that I built this up. So that was a huge shift for me, was to have this business built up, and have so many other people join. It's been really awesome. And I think I've gained over the last 5 years would be perspective. I also just turned 50. So I think there's something, to that of getting older. But yeah, I feel like I don't stress out about things as much as I used to. I feel like things are, I've managed to put things in perspective a little bit more.
Yeah, and speaking to the boundaries, I was just talking to one of our students the other day, and she was talking about how the program has really taught her how to work with boundaries, not only in light of being a feng shui consultant, but in all aspects of her life. So I
Hmm.
think you and I really do our best to model that for ourselves, for each other, and
Hmm.
for our students. What would you say to your 20-year-old self?
20-year-old self. Wow. Okay. So I would have still been in university, and I was going to do my master's. First of all, that would have been in the 90s. I would have told my not to pluck my eyebrows, number one. Um, because I regret that. I was okay, but I really, really wish I hadn't done that at all. Oh, I would have also kept a lot of my clothing. Now it's back. I just ended up buying shoes that are like, literally had half of this, or like a blazer I got. I had all these clothes. So I would have kept my clothes. Um, and oh man, that's a really tough question. I don't know. I think I would have told my 20-year-old self to not be afraid of creativity. I think I was always a very creative kid who was artsy, not very structured, not very, like, I was pretty artsy fartsy. And I always tried to get away from that and be more business and button down and all these things. But I think just to embrace my creativity and know that it's going to support me through the years.
And what are some things that you're doing right now that, as your 50-year-old self, that you're excited about?
Mm, well, well, planning, I mean, it's all comes back to work, which is pretty pathetic, but, no, I have other things in my life, but I am excited about some of the new stuff that we're working on. I am actually really excited about what we're pulling together for next year for the program, as it being our 5th year. And my husband and I've decided to, my son is going to be going off to university probably in the next year or so. And so, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do you know, for the next however many decades that we get. So trying to slow down a little bit, and just my time just focusing on the school and planning for the future. It's not very interesting.
Well, I think it's very interesting because the way that I mean, I just finished writing the chapter in my book right now about the desk. And because
Hmm.
work is not just, we don't have a job where we go to work and sit somewhere and do something that we don't like to do. Actually, our work is intrinsically woven into
It
our
is. Yeah.
creativity and our path in life, and we love it.
Hmm.
So we're very fortunate.
Yeah,
And
we
it's
are.
actually super amazing. We just don't want to make everyone jealous.
You know what though? But that's what I would tell my 20-year-old self, is to not worry, because it'll come, to listen to your gut, and to just, when you want to try something new, you don't have to quit everything and jump ship, but definitely start to play around with it, see how things feel, try something new and try something different. I mean, that's what I did.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, at least for me, when we work together, I'm always looking at how do we make this more of what we love, Laura? What can we do to shape this into what we want?
Yeah, we're at a point in our lives now where that is more important too. When you're in your 20s and your 30s, it's like you're hungry and you really are like driving. You've got that wood chi just going crazy. Now we're at a place, luckily, where we can say, does this work for me? Doesn't this work for me? What works for the students? What's the best course? And coming at it from again, having that perspective and that grounding is really important.
Yeah, this would have been better if you hadn't plucked your eyebrows.
Exactly. That at the end of the day, that's the key takeaway.
Well, so if you haven't listened to all our episodes, you have to listen to our episode about face reading, or we have a few episodes about
Hmm.
face reading to learn about what we're talking about there. Sorry, it's a teaser. You have to go back. Okay, because this is about Laura, not about face reading. Okay, so Laura,
Mm.
who is your favorite hero of fiction?
Ooh. Oh boy. I have to say Gandalf. I'm a total nerd. I like Gandalf. I wish I were Gandalf some days. I want to be a wizard and I want to hang out with hobbits. Yeah. Gandalf.
Will you hang out with me? I'm pretty short.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not from the Shire though. So
What is your personal motto?
my personal motto that I like to say to myself, I tell people this occasionally I say, do not borrow worry. Don't borrow worry. So, and I think my mom taught me that, or I think it was my mom. So basically, I'm the kind of person that if somebody tells me something, I overthink it. And so I'll think 8 steps ahead and into the future that has not happened. It's nobody knows if it's going to happen. And I worry about the things that might happen that are nowhere near happening. So that's it. So don't borrow worry. You don't need to worry about something that hasn't even happened. Just focus on what's in front of you. Relax. Just do that. And things and the worries that I think are going to happen in the future like never pan out. So it's just, stop worrying.
Like a true Canadian.
Mm.
Borrow. Borrow.
Borrow,
Burrow. How do you say it?
burrow, borrow, borrow.
Borrow.
To
I'm a
take. Why? How do you say it? Borrow.
borrow.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Borrow.
So like
Borrow.
so my husband's been pulling me aside saying, you're picking up all these Canadianisms from Laura. And then I was saying, oh no, am I gonna start to say borrow like
Yeah.
I,
Borrow,
no,
roof,
no, it's borrow. Okay.
borrow, borrow. So A's.
Okay. Okay,
Anyway.
back to Laura. All
Okay.
right. Laura, which words which words or phrases
Oh,
do
you're
you
gonna, yeah.
most overuse? Borrow.
Okay. No, I don't use that, but I tell you okay. 2 things. Oh boy.
Oh, I got that from
Oh
you.
boy, you do that now too. And this is bananas.
I say that too. I'm actually this is like a metal thing I've
Yeah.
noticed. I really am very sensitive to the way that other people speak and I pick it up very fast.
They're also really good because, I try not to swear too much, which I do, by the way, I do swear a lot, but I try not to. I try to be, because again, just trying to chill out. So I've tried to use phrases that I still love that are, like that kind of sum up how I'm feeling. And I feel like, oh boy, is like my one. And then of course I do like, that's bananas. And bonkers.
Oh, I don't so I've picked up the oh boy and I've picked up the bananas and I see those both all the time. I think it's also kid safe, right? So you probably pick this
Yeah,
up when
probably. Yeah. And like for 17 years now. Yeah,
But
probably.
I
Yeah.
don't say the other one, which I've already forgotten. Bonkers. No, I don't say that.
Bonkers.
Okay, so what is your most treasured possession?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Apart from, possession, so not person, so an actual item, a tangible item. Um, it might be my grandmother's earrings that she gave me. My grandmother gave me these earrings, and they're one of my most important things that she gave me. So yeah, probably that. I wear them when I want to feel that I connect with her. Yeah.
Mm. And what would you like? Actually, I'm going to change your question.
Okay.
Well, I can ask both. What would you
Mm.
like for a superpower?
Okay. I always would think back to who are my favorite superheroes because I'm a nerd. If you hadn't guessed with the Gandalf answer,
Did you almost say Gondolf?
I did almost say Gandalf. That would be if I was like really borrow my Gandalf. Okay, who do I most like? I always go to super strength. I don't know why. It's totally not useful. I mean it is useful, but I feel like it's really shallow. But I would want to be like, I don't know, like, yeah, super strong or maybe telekinesis. I want to be able to move stuff and not have to like, go anywhere. But
Okay.
yeah.
And then my addition would be, what is your superpower?
Oh yeah. So my girlfriends and I, when we were in university, we all went through what our superpowers were. My girlfriend's was running in heels, which was awesome. Mine mine was, and I think if she's listening, she has to text me. Mine was communicating with animal communication.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I fully feel like I'm like, yeah, animal communication, like since I was young. That's my
Ah,
superpower. Yeah.
okay. All right. And then last but not least, to close, what is your favorite simple feng shui tip?
Ooh, yeah. Okay, well, I really like, and I do this once in a while, but definitely in the new year, is I like to, it's not a traditional BTB, black sect adjustment. I have lots of favorites of those, but one that I can share with everyone would be feng shuiing my wallet. Just getting a new wallet. I don't get a new wallet every year, but every few years I do. Cleaning it out, getting rid of all the junk that accumulates in it, because that's a whole bunch of old money, stagnant money chi. Then putting in it my new red envelope with my $108 from the bank that I get, and I wrap it up in a red envelope and I put that in my wallet. And then I add whatever animal of that year is Angie's little silver. She gives me a silver little thing for whatever animal it is that's the friend of the year, and I hang that on my wallet. So that's my one thing. And stay tuned when we do our reset, which will be in November. We're going to open that up. That's a while away. I know that, but our New Year reset that I'm sure a lot of you have participated in. But I do that in the new year, or also around my birthday.
Okay.
It's like a
So just
reset.
to summarize,
Mm-hmm.
it's you get a new wallet usually, but you at the very least clean out your wallet. You go to the
Yes.
bank, you get
Yep.
$108
Yep.
new from the bank, you put it in a red envelope, you
Yep.
put it in your wallet, and then you also make sure you have in there the zodiac animal charm for the year, which we sell at the Holistic Spaces store.
That's right.
And this is enumerated somewhere in our blog
Oh,
or
you know
something.
what? And actually, if you go to our YouTube channel, I think there's a video too. There's a how-to
Okay.
video. Yeah.
So we'll make sure we have that in the show notes too,
Mm-hmm.
so you can click through to that. So thank you, Laura. Thank you for letting me interview you.
Well, thank you, Angie. It was a pleasure.
It was very fun.
You're up next. Get ready.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Holistic Spaces podcast. You can tune in every Monday for a new podcast episode. If you like our podcast and this episode, please share it with others. You can support the podcast by checking out our certification course and other mini courses that we have at mindfuldesignschool.com. It would be super cool to see you on our mailing list. You can join our mailing list and you get a weekly email with special offers that are only for our newsletter subscribers. You can click through on the show notes on the podcast app that you're listening to this with, or you can visit mindfuldesignschool.com, scroll to the bottom, and there's a place there to put your email to sign up. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.